A few hours later, Kane stood in the massive black tower at the peak of Mount Cal. Before him, a middle-aged man sat by a window overlooking the distant capital city of Calandria and opened Kane's letter. Not only was the letter sealed with a stamped imprint of the Doom faction's insignia, but it was also scarlet-colored, meaning that this letter had to be opened immediately, as it was of great importance. Beside Deputy Officer Kane stood 3 other deputy officers of the Doom faction for Calandria. Each one is assigned to a different fiefdom. For the matter at hand was so important that all of them had been summoned at once. The middle-aged man calmly hummed as he read through the letter quickly. Head Officer Wilhelm was the most powerful man in the entire kingdom of Calandria, with even more influence than the nation's king. Yet, despite this fact, Wilhelm wore a simple black cloak and sandals, and unlike his deputies, he wore no sword upon his belt. Finally, Wilhelm finished humming and smiled up at Kane with curious eyes. "Deputy Officer Kane, you swear you did not open this on your journey?" Kane nodded solemnly. "I swear it, sir. I would never be so brash as to examine a letter of such importance. I was already planning to visit you when it arrived at my tower, and so I left immediately, never stopping to open it until this very moment, sir." Wilhelm chuckled and hummed once more, as if Kane had revealed a pivotal piece of information. "Go ahead and take it back from me. It came to your tower, after all. Read it and see what it says." Wilhelm offered Kane the letter, but Kane merely took a step back and bowed. "Apologies, sir. I cannot take it. You know scarlet letters are beyond what my eyes may witness." You're going to be a stick in the mud about it. At least go on and guess its contents. I know you have your suspicions." Deputy Kane thought for a moment, and then Nathan Hayfield's figure flashed before his mind. Kane shrugged. "Could it be regarding that child spiritual swordsman prodigy, the Hayfield boy in my fiefdom?" Kane knew that Wilhelm had taken a deep-rooted interest in the boy ever since Kane had first alerted him to his existence after the spiritual warrior examinations. He'd gotten a letter back from a carrier raven almost immediately, telling him to keep Wilhelm informed of all updates regarding Nathan's progress. Besides, nothing else in the kingdom of Calandria had changed much in the past few months. Everyone had been preparing for the aristocracy examinations, and the number of roadside bandit attacks had been on the rise. But those things had long been anticipated by Head Officer Wilhelm. Therefore, Kane knew that Nathan was the only topic that could possibly have surprised or startled Wilhelm. Wilhelm couldn't help but chuckle at Deputy Kane's canny guess. "Looks like you didn't need to read the letter after all. That's right. It's another letter regarding Nathan Hayfield. This time his performance is even more impressive and unexpected." "Really? How? What would you wish to share with us, sir?" My, someone's already taken a liking to the boy, I see. As you know, I met his family. They're a fallen noble family, but honorable and good folk. You'll be interested to hear this, then. According to our Doom faction informants in the city of Godricshall, that just this morning young Nathan fought in a duel with at least one Herald's Land boy of apprentice level 4. Might you guess what the result was? Deputy Officer Kane frowned as he leaned in close to his master. He was not surprised they had learned of this fight, although it was discreetly covered up by Sir Ian and Hagar Haroldson. No matter what the nobles of the land wished to hide, the eyes and ears of the Doom faction were always observing them. According to my estimation, sir, with that boy's probable strength, I'd bet he eked out a victory over them, although it may have been a costly one. I'd like to hope he managed to win. Although Deputy Kane did not know Nathan Hayfield's true strength, because he had yet to witness him in an actual fight. He could sense Nathan's spiritual energy whenever he interacted with him. "Is that your final answer?" "Yes, sir. I'd wager that his personal strength should be around the 4th or 5th level of the apprentice stage." Despite Kane's own judgment that Nathan was a special fighter, he still saw Nathan as a child, and could not have possibly imagined that he was already a master-level warrior. "Slam!" Officer Wilhelm slammed the arm of his chair as he burst into laughter. The man's eyes watered, and he shook his head as he tried to recompose himself in front of Kane and the other startled deputies who listened obediently. "Oh, that's funny. Let me tell you this, Kane. You better keep being a Doom faction member. Your career as a gambler's going nowhere." "Sir, what do you mean? What happened?" "Your boy Nathan did much more than eke out a victory. He absolutely dominated them. Not only did he cripple the sword arm of his direct adversary, but when a duke's son got involved, he used a single cut to push the kid out of his way, severely wounding him as well in the process. My report says it was over in a matter of seconds, and Nathan didn't even have a scratch on him. Now tell me again how he's an apprentice level 5. "Ha!" Kane's eyes widened in amazement. "What? But how could this be?" Even the other deputy officers were shocked. They began to frown and whisper together excitedly. "And get this, the Duke's son was at least a level 6 or 7 apprentice and was sneak attacking him. Imagine that. This Hayfield boy has to be many times more powerful than that if he was to catch the boy sneaking behind him and deliver a single decisive blow like that." Although everyone in that room within the tower could easily achieve the same feat, they were all adult Doom faction officers, not mere 14-year-old spiritual warrior students. All Kane could do was shake his head with amazement as he tried to wrap his head around what Wilhelm told him. I just can't believe it, sir. I knew young Nathan was a prodigy, but not like this." Wilhelm's face turned serious as he cracked his knuckles and stood up from his chair. "Looks like this little kingdom of Calandria is about to produce a spiritual champion, a true maverick, the likes of which we've rarely seen before. From Nathan Hayfield's performance, I'd say his strength must at least be an apprentice level 9. Not a bad future disciple of the Doom faction, wouldn't you say?" Kane grew serious as he slowly trailed Wilhelm over toward the largest window in the room, its 3-sided panels overlooking the mountain beneath them. Over here, the floor itself was made of glass, so one could see just how far above the ground they were suspended. "Yes, sir. I would say he'd make an excellent recruit in the future." "Good. Now, I want to know everything I can about this boy. Have your informers look deeper into his background. What's the Hayfields family story again?" Yes, sir. The Hayfields are currently considered the weakest noble house in the fiefdom of Godric's land, though given the circumstances that seems likely to change. The noble house itself is an old one, dating back nearly 1,000 years to when it was once full of legendary warriors that brought glory to the clan, along with wealth and fame. "Quite impressive indeed. Go on." "The house's founder, the creator of the Dunshire Medicine Garden, and the one who won a challenge during the aristocracy examination all those many years ago, did so with the same broadsword that Nathan wields now. All the different branches of that founder's family died off slowly over the centuries until all that remained was Ulrich and his 2 children." "And what of young Nathan's life in particular? What do we know about this unusual young man?" "As for Nathan, little is known about his early years. At most, he had the makings of a mediocre swordsman. but he always was known for training incredibly hard. 3 years ago now, he nearly lost his life in a duel with another noble's son. After that, his progress has flourished and shown no sign of stopping. And what do you imagine sparked such a change? I'm not certain, sir. Curious indeed. But, sir, I do know what drives him now. And what is that, Deputy Kane? His mother, sir. She was murdered before Nathan could even talk. The whereabouts of the killer are still largely unknown. Ah, yes. I remember this from one of your letters. The strange boot symbol you showed me. Nathan's convinced that it holds the key to finding his mother's murderer. I mentioned our library to him in passing, as you suggested, and I believe that's our best bet of convincing him to join us. Perhaps our scholars will be able to recognize the markings. Perhaps. So revenge is what drives this strange boy's need for spiritual power. How interesting. Suddenly, a female deputy officer approached and cleared her throat. Either way, Head Officer Wilhelm, I suggest we look for ways to induct him into the faction as soon as possible. Talent such as his doesn't come around often, and we don't want to risk losing him to another faction. Our actions should be immediate if we want to secure his loyalty. A fascinating thought, Deputy Ragnar. What do you think, Deputy Kane? You know the boy better than any of us, after all. Personally, sir, I think it's best we avoid direct intervention for the time being. His family is embroiled in the political schemings of other lords at the moment. We should seek to remain impartial, as our sacred laws command us, unless, of course, the situation arises where we must step in. Oh, really now? I do love such trifling gossip. Tell me more of these political schemings. Deputy Officer Kane sighed. Well, sir, at the moment, House Hayfield is waiting to face the High House Raven in an aristocratic examination challenge. If we were to interfere now, we'd ruin House Hayfield's chances of winning the title and could be putting Nathan's family at risk. However, since this boy is of such high value to us, it would be wise to step in should the Duke's family or even the King's family get involved. Any master-level warrior sent to fight him should be intercepted. Clap! Distant avalanche. Officer Wilhelm clapped his hands together loudly with joy at the thought of Nathan's future. As he turned back from the windows to face his deputies, he failed to glimpse a massive avalanche he had inadvertently caused. Splendid plan. We shall do as you say, Deputy Kane. Force him to continue to prove himself, but step in when necessary. Can you make it back to Godricshall by the morning? Well, speak up, man. As Wilhelm spoke, Kane's eyes were on the avalanche, and they only came back up to his master once he was sure no lives were threatened by it. Yes, sorry, certainly, sir. I'll take my leave at once. With that, Kane saluted his master and his fellow deputies before exiting the room. Kane couldn't help but smile at the thought of Nathan joining them. A genius like this kid comes around once only 100 years. What luck I get to nurture him. As Kane readied his horse for the journey home, he shook his head at the path down the mountain. It would now take twice as long now that the road was buried in freshly fallen avalanche snow.